Hi everyone! In this video, we are going to show you how to style the thumbnails layout of the Posts and Media Galleries modules. Each site has one or more elements that use the Posts or Media Gallery module, so a proper layout can make a real difference and can help you characterize your layout. Moreover, thanks to these options, you can create from news lists to portfolio projects, to shop products, both grid or carousels, like in the example, or image and media files galleries. Here we have a simple Posts module, based on the Post featured image and the Post title, while below we have a Media Gallery module. The Posts and Media Gallery module are practically identical. The options are pretty similar, and we can say that for the most part they share the same options. The difference between the Posts module and the Media Gallery module is just the source they use. The Posts module is used to display WordPress post types, blog posts like in this example, or portfolio items, pages, or shop products. While the Media Gallery module is used to display image, video, or album galleries, generally with a lightbox or with a custom link. If I open the settings, it's possible to see that the modules have the same options. In the Posts module, there is a general, a module, a block, a single, a lightbox, a mobile, and an extra tab. As you can see, if I open the Media Gallery, the options are ultimately the same. By learning the settings of one of these modules, you will automatically learn how to work with the other. Therefore, in this video, I refer to the Posts module, but the same instructions are valid for the Media Gallery module. Thumbnails are used both by the grid and by the carousel layouts. Please note that once a style is defined, it is very easy to switch from one layout method to the other, and the thumbnail setup will be basically unchanged. There are two main groups of settings that define a thumbnail: the elements that are part of the thumbnail, like the image and the title, and other possible elements that we will discover soon, and the visual properties of the design. Let's start to understand how to modify the elements that create the thumbnail. So let's navigate to the Module tab. In this tab, there are many options that define the appearance and properties of the module, which we talk about in detail in the videos Posts and Gallery Grids and Posts and Gallery Carousels. What interests us at the moment is the Elements list. In this group of options, it's possible to define the elements that compose the thumbnail. There are many popular elements: the image, the title, the date, the text, the category, the button, separators, and others. Some elements have secondary options that are useful for fine-tuning the layout. Let's give it a try. For example, let's activate the text element, set excerpt as the source. The excerpt is a small summary you can insert in an article, and set a limit of 100 characters. I also add the publication date element that is indispensable for every blog post. Let's save the options. As we can see, we've extended our thumbnails with two new elements. We can also reposition the elements, for example by moving the date above the title. You can move the elements as you want. Only the image has to be the first or the last element of the list. Great and flexible. Now let's add a separator and an author module, and setting some of its specific options like the medium size. That's it. Now let's insert the category and set the options as coloured background and over the image on top right. Perfect. Now we've seen how to work with the elements, let's discover how to customize the design of the thumbnails with the Block tab options. The Blocks tab presents all the options you may need to change the layout of your thumbnails. Let's check together the most important options to understand the workflow. Unlike other themes that offer presets, in Uncode you have a lot of options that can be combined to create your layout. These options can seem scary the first time you see them, because they are many, but from their combinations, your creativity will have no limits. In a few words, we give users all the CSS options that a developer has available when coding from convenient admin settings. The first option is Layout. Here you have three options. Content Under Image refers to all the variations where the elements are positioned under the media. It's basically the layout we're in now. Content Overlay refers to all the variations where the elements are positioned over the media. So, overlay name. Content Lateral refers to all the variations where the content is positioned to the side of the media. As you can see, just these three variations already allow a lot of different layouts. Width refers to the fraction value of the thumbnail's width relative to the available space. This value, as in the case of the Uncode grid, is defined on a 12-division space. So, for example, in this case, we have 4/12. That means 3 thumbnails, one after the other. 6/12 are 2 thumbnails, and 12/12 is a single thumbnail that occupies the entire width available. Let's revert to our standard 4/12 to continue the tutorial. Media ratio is the proportion of the image between width and height. There are many preset options to choose from and can really cover all the needs. Do you need a modern format? Let's use 3x2. Do you need a cinematographic format? Let's use 16:9. Do you need a vertical format? Let's try, for example, 2x3. Pretty flexible, right? Let's continue with the standard 1x1, that in ratio terms means a square. Then there are the background colour and shape that don't need any explanation. Let's try, for example, to set a white colour and add a border radius around the thumbnail. Here we are, and you can see the background, and probably you can note the extra small rounded borders. Next, we have the skin. We have already seen the skins in a dedicated video, so we know that thanks to this option, we can change the colour base of a container element, and all elements inside will change colour accordingly. Let's modify the skin option to dark and the background to use a dark colour. Let's save. OK, here we are with a dark skin thumbnail. Let's revert to the light skin and light background. Now let's check the Overlay Options group. These options define the overlay element that is useful to have both an animation when passing over the thumbnail and a level that can help to contrast the text from the image, as we'll see shortly. The Overlay Colour options set the colour of the overlay. The coloration can be fully coloured, to have a solid colour, or 2 different gradient directions, in order to make the overlay a gradient from the specified colour to transparent. Then we have the Overlay Opacity to change the overlay opacity intensity. To better understand the next options, let's set the Content Overlay mode. The overlay can be defined as visible or hidden. In fact, it's possible to have it visible by default and hide it on the hover state, or have it hidden by default and make it visible on the hover state. For example, set to visible, we will immediately have a greater contrast, as in this case, useful in combination with Content Overlay. This can be combined with a text animation option that can be static or animated. In case it is animated, it will be visible or hidden according to the text visibility option you have chosen. Let's see it in action. Following, there are a series of options that define the behaviour of the image. It's possible to desaturate it, or apply a scale animation on hover state. Of course, these options can be combined. Let's give a try to the image animation option. As you can see when overlong, now we have a smooth scale animation. Cool. There are options for the text alignment and for the content positioning. In fact, it's possible to define the alignment of the text on desktop and mobile, and decide the vertical alignment of the content itself. The text padding option is responsible for the space around the content, and is very useful when working on creative layouts. The option works, of course, on content overlay layouts, but also on content under image layouts or content lateral. In the presence of a full-width section, you will have more often the need to give more breathing space to the contents inside the thumbnail. So, on a post module used in a row limit, you will hardly use a bigger value, but in presence of a full-width row, you will see that also the contents of the thumbnails will need to breathe more. I implement a full-width layout here so we can enjoy these options. Let's go back to where we left off with the post module options. Inner elements reduced gap, which reduces the vertical spacing between elements, and the multiple click areas option, which in case of textual elements with independent links, removes the wrapper link around the image to apply specific links to the elements. For example, the title that links to the article, the category that links to the category page, and the author that links to the author archive. Below, there are typographic options for the title. These options are simple and are the same you find in the main modules of Uncode, like the heading module. Here it's possible to edit the semantic, the family font, font size, weight, text transform to really make thumbnails stand out, and have them perfectly integrated in the design. Let's test some variations. Here we are. We have the text size that we can use to modify the text size of the text element from default, large or small. The icon option allows us to assign an icon if the icon element has been activated in the list of elements. This is more useful with a layout content under image, so we don't activate it now. The shadow option, which allows to apply a modern shadow to the thumbnails. There are some presets and the possibility to make the shadow more marked if we are working on a dark background. Here you can see the shadow. Then there is the possibility to remove the border from the thumbnails or add it. And as for the last options, there are the animation settings. Applying these options, it's possible to define and control a series of effects for the appearance animation of the thumbnails. In this way, you can even capture the user's attention, making the design dynamic. The best from the Posts and Media Gallery module is obtained from the combinations of the options seen in this video, since all settings are combinable. Thanks to these, web designers and creative can create remarkable layouts and fine-tune these important modules to their needs. For those who don't want to get their hands dirty, there is always available the Wireframes plugin, thanks to which you can import many combinations of layouts ready to be used and edited. Let's test some. So I delete our modules and I open the Wireframes plugin with more than 400 pre-made sections ready to be imported. I can test this blog magazine layout where we have a big thumbnail with content overlay layout and then a list of small thumbnail with content under image layout. Let's test another one. I remove the row containing the layout we just imported. I open the Wireframes tool again, and I'm going in the blog category. For example, let's check this Blog Metro alternate layout. Cool one. This is eye-catching. Let's try another. I remove the row, and I open the wireframe section selector. This time, let's search for a carousel layout. Here, let's test this carousel stage padding layout so we have something completely different. Here we are. Pretty cool, right? This tool is really convenient, and we can start from these presets to modify our thumbnails now. Don't underestimate the importance of the options seen in this tutorial. Thanks to them, it's possible to create most of the stylistic variations you have seen in the Uncode demos, from amazing blog posts to stylish portfolios to trendy shop product lists.